In this second session, we're going to get a feel for the whole Bible story, and we'll be using a diagram that we'll come back to in future sessions. The Bible begins with God, and God creates a good universe with effortless power. And it becomes clear reading Genesis that the focus is not wildlife documentaries, but people. The universe is built as a place for people to fill and be in relationship with God. We're made to be God's people, in God's place, in relationship with Him. And that is the good life. So Eden was a wonderful place to live. Adam and Eve had beauty and purpose. They had food and society. They had variety and wealth and peace and harmony. It was a wonderful place. But Adam and Eve thought they could do better. They'd witnessed God's generosity and infinite power, and yet they thought they should be in charge. God set one restriction on them, and they went against it, thinking they could find a better life elsewhere. Which is a stupid idea in God's world. He'd warned them that it would lead to curse, and so the blessing turns to curse. In terms of people, well, they can no longer have children and the joy of populating the world without pain and suffering cutting in. In terms of land, they're exiled from Eden, and the land will produce thorns and make work a frustration. In terms of relationship with God, there's none of the intimacy and openness there was. Adam and Eve hide in shame from their Maker. Creation seems ruined. We drop to a desperate state. But one of the glorious things about studying a Bible overview is seeing God's grace again and again to those who don't deserve it. I mean, Adam and Eve didn't deserve Eden. It was a free gift from a generous God. But now, humanity, having willfully rebelled against a good God, deserves nothing but death. And yet, the story doesn't stop, because God's grace doesn't stop. He is generous to the undeserving. And so the Bible is not a 3-chapter book. His kindness means it carries on. And if we turn to the end of the story, in Revelation 21, we discover that there is a happy ending. There's a wonderful ending with a people from every tribe and tongue, a great crowd in a wonderful new place, a new creation, a world of peace and joy. And they're all experiencing intimate relationship with the God who made them. It's actually even better than Genesis 2. So then, what makes the difference? How do we get from rock bottom to sky high? Well, that is the Bible story. The Bible is a rescue story. It's asking, how will God rescue people to enjoy knowing Him in a new creation? From the ruin at the start, the restoration at the end, rescue is the agenda of the middle. How does that happen? Well, in Revelation 21, it's clear. There's one big difference between Genesis and Revelation. Lots of echoes of Eden come through, but the difference is the Lamb. In Revelation 21, the Lamb is central, speaking of Jesus Christ, pictured as a sacrificial lamb seated on a throne. That is the Saviour, King. You see, the curse has gone. The serpent has gone because the Lamb has come. The Lamb now reigns. So we can summarize the whole Bible story as rescue from the curse by the Lamb for the new creation. Obviously, there's a lot going on in the middle, but that is the basic shape. We'll see next time that in the middle there's a prototype rescue with Israel before the true rescue by the Lamb. But the overall shape, rescue from curse by the Lamb for the new creation. But just before we close, when would you know that there was a happy ending? If I hadn't given away the end, if you didn't know the spoilers of Revelation, when would you know the Bible story would end with blessing, not curse? One of our principles in the overview is not to always jump to the end. We want to let God tell the story His way, to unfold the plan the way He designed it. Well, when would you know about the happy ending? Genesis 3 speaks of a serpent crusher. A child of Eve is going to crush the serpent as he's bitten by the snake, by Satan. But that's quite enigmatic. And actually, things deteriorate quickly when in Genesis 4, one of the two candidates for the serpent crusher kills the other one. In 5 to 11 of Genesis, things get even worse. Man descends into wickedness and violence, such that God decides to flood the earth, rescuing only Noah and his family. But even restarting with righteous Noah, things descend again into wickedness. Things come to a head with the Tower of Babel in Genesis 11, man's proud, anti-God self-reliance. It seems like sin and death and the curse are unstoppable forces now they've been unleashed. At which point, against the backdrop of Babel, or Genesis 12 enters the story like a bolt of light. God steps in to the life of a man called Abraham and gives arguably the most important promise in the Bible. It's where we're going to start next time, and it is a promise of blessing. Blessing to Abraham, blessing to his family, and through his family, blessing to the world. It is the announcement that there'll be a happy ending. And I hope that shows us just how gracious our God is. The creator of this world did not give up when Adam and Eve rebelled. He did not give up when the world turned violent and wicked. He didn't give up when Noah and his family deteriorated again into sin. And against the shocking pride of Babel, He doesn't give up, but graciously chooses to bless. Hope in this universe is rooted in a gracious God who has a rescue plan. He will rescue from the curse by the Lamb for the new creation.